Hey everybody, Amy DeAndrea here. Thanks so much for coming to my first Facebook Live. I'm super excited. So what I want to do is, through this particular live video, I was gonna talk about really not just how you become pet CPR certified. Well, of course I'm going to say that. I own a pet CPR training company, so we're going to talk about that. But why is it important? Why do people feel like it's something that is important for them to know? Why business owners and employers feel that it's something that's important to know? Basically, let's go through a couple of things that I kind of put together. Just the common questions that we get when we teach our classes, when we answer emails, and what are some of the things that we hear all the time? I mean, there's a lot of pet CPR training companies out there, and we're all doing a good thing. I mean, we're all trying to make sure that we provide training that's relevant to people such as yourselves, as well as other consumers and businesses, and help. About the bottom line is we want to be able to save animal lives, and knowing this information, certainly is important. And why do we do that? And why do we do what we do? So, first, my little cue cards here, so be patient with me. Pet CPR, that's a thing. We get this all the time. People come to our classes, or they contact us about registering for class, and they're like, I didn't realize that doing CPR on dogs and cats was even a thing. I thought it was just for people. Yes, it is a thing, and it's a very important thing, and it is a very successful thing. I mean, obviously, not all instances of cardiac arrest is successful, but there are plenty of instances where it is. That you can go on YouTube and see tons of videos of people performing CPR on a dog or on a cat, and it revives, and it's a great success story. It's a kind of a growing interest as the animal population and animal industry grows. A lot of employers are now requiring their employees to be pet CPR and first aid certified. Dog daycare facilities, we get a lot of clients from doggy daycares, a lot of veterinary clinics. Veterinary clinics do want to have their staff certified, even though they were trained in vet school and vet tech school how to do CPR. Having that training and that credibility that they are actually certified in pet CPR is important, so we get a lot of those types of clients, as well as pet owners. And I think it's an important thing that we need to talk to pet owners about, getting pet CPR and first aid certified, just learning it. And we're going to talk about certification versus non-certification in just a minute, but I do feel like it's something that pet owners need to realize. It's not just for professionals. It's not just for the pet sitter to go out and learn CPR and first aid for dogs and cats so that they can better take care of the animals in their care. It's also important for the average pet owner. You never know when something's going to happen, and when that instance does happen where an animal chokes on something, gets poisoned, gets into something that they, shouldn't, or is toxic for them. When there's a house fire and there's smoke inhalation and burns and allergic reactions if the animal gets into something that they shouldn't have. So all those different types of emergencies are things that could happen again in the average home, in the average pet owner's life. It might even be something like you going to the dog park and the dog gets in a fight with another dog, and what do you do? And then there's, this is where you're hiking. Maybe we're here in Las Vegas. That's where we live. And our office for pet emergency education is here. But there's heat stroke is a problem. Burns, asphalt burns are a problem. We have a lot of venomous creatures here, like rattlesnakes and scorpions. And so being familiar with, if we're just walking our dog, what could happen, what types of hazards are out there. So that's, again, a very important reason for the average pet owner to come to a pet CPR and first aid class to learn about those types of things. And a good quality pet CPR and first aid training program will go through relevant emergencies. There are things that are going to be relevant for you in your area, that are, common emergencies that you are very likely to come in contact with, things like that. So that's kind of, of course, pet CPR, as I just mentioned, is a thing. And we're excited that it's catching on and more people are realizing that it is a thing, because we want to get out to those people that don't realize that it's out there and that they can receive training for this, and it can significantly change your life as well as your pet's life if you are trained and you do experience a medical emergency. So that's that. Now, do you perform pet CPR the same way on people or on animals as you do on people? The answer is no, you don't. If you go to or talk to anyone that tries to promote that pet CPR is the same as human CPR, you should run away, because that is very wrong. I mean, animals have very different anatomy. The dogs and cats, their chests are flat this way. Our chests are flat this way. So just the position of the lungs and the heart in the chest cavity is different. How you do compressions from the front as opposed to the sides is different. Some of the human regulations now say or dictate compression only CPR, so they're not even doing mouth to mouth on people. I guess they're finding that the circulating blood and oxygen, I guess, in the blood is more critical. And that is true also for dogs and cats. That is the most critical aspect, is getting the blood circulating around, but also bringing in, enough of that oxygen as well as carbon dioxide exchange is also important. And you learn all of that in our pet CPR training course about how all that works. So anyway, yes, it is different than people. No, you can't perform CPR the same way. Dogs and cats vary in size. I mean, you have little Chihuahuas and you have Great Danes and you have Maine Coon cats, and then you have kittens, and all these different shapes and sizes of animals warrants that we need to position them differently. So in our training programs, we teach the 4 different positions that you would put animals in based on their size, species, and also their chest, shape and circumference. So that's something that's also very different from people. And again, also the mouth to mouth and people, that's, a lot of training programs are not promoting anymore or not requiring anymore. I don't want to speak to which ones, because, there's a multitude of them out there, but I know that I have heard that from human CPR trainers. And then there are mouth to snout on dogs and cats. That is a thing. So people say, that's a thing? Yeah, that's a thing. The way that we get air into dog and cat airways is through their nostrils, not through their mouth. Their mouth, like this part of their skull here, this part of their face, is called the rostrum. And that's where all their nasal passages and sinuses are and all that. And it's long. And as people, ours is very short. Our airway, the distance from our mouth to where our lungs are is much shorter than the distance from the average dog or cat to there. So that plays a big role, and it makes a big difference too, because we do mouth to snout on dogs and cats. So whether or not you went to a human program that taught you mouth to mouth or not mouth to mouth, whatever you learned, on dogs and cats, it is definitively, there is a mouth to snout type of technique that is used to push air into the lungs. And in our particular classes, for pet emergency education requires each one of our instructors to purchase an actual professional CPR mannequin that has an airway. Tongue comes out, you can blow in its nostrils, its lung fills up. So the simulation is better than just a stuffed animal. Having said that, when you come to one of our classes, you'll be able to learn on a mannequin, a model that closely resembles kind of the real world situation. It's really hard to learn kind of that whole real world aspect to compression to breath ratio and that kind of thing on just a stuffed animal. So we do have that available for people who take our classes. And that will also give you kind of a good experience in being able to learn how to do that too as well. So do you perform the same as? No, you do not. And that's a thing. All right, next. what will you learn in a pet first aid and CPR class? There's a lot of things that you'll learn in one of our classes. So I can only speak to our courses, Pet Emergency Education. Our curriculum is designed to be a well-rounded, comprehensive curriculum that provides the participant with not only a lecture portion where you'll learn all about the emergencies, how to transport an injured animal, how to even determine if an animal is injured or experiencing an emergency, what type of emergency they're experiencing, and how to administer first aid for that emergency. But we also go through choking maneuvers, so how to do the doggy Heimlich maneuver, basically, or kitty Heimlich maneuver, and what that looks like. And in our classes, there's a hands-on portion. So you learn all about it in the lecture portion. And then there's a hands-on portion where you'll get to work on the models, the mannequins. We have dogs, cats. Like I said, we have a professional CPR mannequin. We have small dogs. So we're able to let you practice and go through and do all these things. So you'll be able to learn how to do the Heimlich maneuver. You'll be able to do the back blow method. You'll be able to do abdominal thrusts. We'll learn that. And then, of course, we spend a good period of the class on CPR. So you'll be learning the step-by-step how to perform CPR. You'll get to do it. You'll get to practice on all the different positions. Usually there's about 4 stations in the room where you get to practice all of that. And then at the end, and again, we're going to talk in a minute about certification versus non-certification and what that means. But at the end of the class, everyone gets tested on CPR and dogs and cats. And so what you'll do is you'll practice in the workshop session. You'll work one-on-one with the instructor, be able to practice all that, different positions, learning it on cats, dogs, puppies, kittens, large dogs, barrel-chested dogs. And then once you feel comfortable, the instructor will then watch you perform CPR start to finish to be able to visualize that you are competent in it and are able to do it appropriately, because we want you to be able to feel comfortable when you walk out of the classroom. If an animal goes into cardiac arrest, or if an animal gets hit by a car, or you see something happen, you can use the skills that you learned from us and be able to implement them and hopefully save that animal's life. And so you can see a complete description of our course curriculum on our website, which is www.petemergencyeducation.com. And for, when you're on our website, if you click on class descriptions, we actually offer 5 different classes. Our most common one is our canine and feline CPR and first aid class. And we have classes all over the country. We're not just in Las Vegas. Greg and I, the owners of the company, live in Las Vegas, and that's where we have the home office for the company. But we have instructors all over the country. We actually have a couple instructors in Canada. We have also a couple instructors in Europe that teach our program. So likelihood is we do have someone near you who is teaching a class or can teach a class. So definitely check us out. If the curriculum, look at our curriculum, you can see what the expectations are so you know what you're going to learn. And like I said, we're a very comprehensive program. Our curriculum has been approved by multiple organizations. We're an approved educational provider with the American Association of Veterinary State Boards, and a lot of veterinary clinics and veterinary staff come to our classes. They host our classes. We work with hundreds of animal shelters and rescues, teaching their staff. A lot of them host classes through our fundraiser program. So we're a very credible company. We've been around for over 10 years now. We've got a great program, and we'd love to have you in one of our classes. And if you have any questions whatsoever, don't hesitate to email us at info.petemergency@gmail.com. Okay, so that was a lot of information on that one, but feel free if you have any questions to type them in the chat window. Always open for questions, no problem there. If there's anything I'm talking about and you want to ask a question about it, feel free. I'll keep an eye out on those. All right. Big question. Really, really important. When you're looking for a pet CPR and first aid program, training program, there's a big difference between certification programs and attendance programs. So basically what the difference is that in order to become certified in something, you have to take a class and then you have to be tested somehow. And however that test happens is kind of up to the company or organization that's putting on the class. Testing can be a written test. It can be a multiple choice test. It can be a test online. In our case, we have 2 different programs. So all of our classes certify. So we are a certification company, which many other companies are not. So if you're looking to not only be trained, but also have that credential as being certified in pet CPR and first aid, then you need to definitely seek out a company that certifies. And like I said, there are not that many. There are a few, but you want to make sure that you look on the fine print and see if they actually certify you. So what we do in our live, so we have live classes. Those are in person. We register on our website. You come and show up to a class. You watch the instructor. You listen to the lecture program. You'll participate in the hands-on portion with them, with the mannequins. And then at the end of the class, as I just mentioned, you will take a test where you will demonstrate how to do it. And so once the instructor feels comfortable that you're able to do it, unassisted, they can give you your certification card and certificate. And so that's how a company is able to certify, as long as they are testing someone on the material. If you just show up to a class, learn the material, watch a video, whatever, and leave, then you can't be certified, because no one's been able to verify that you know or remember any of that information. And that's great, because that's not great, but it's great for some people. Some people just want that. I want to learn how to do it. But just keep in mind that it doesn't legally certify you, and you're not going to be certified in being able to perform anything or do anything. And there's a big gray area anyway about what does certification mean, and it varies by state to state. So my little disclaimer here is that, if you want to know what certification means to you and your state and your job and whatever you're taking the class for, that's kind of up to you to be able to, contact or research that on your own. But in general, certification does lead to higher credibility. A lot of employers want their employees to be certified as opposed to just go to a class. And then a lot of those organizations that do provide a certificate of attendance, they don't certify you necessarily, but they provide you with a certificate of attendance, which means you showed up, you were there, and that was it. And so that doesn't prove that anybody actually is knowledgeable in something, because you weren't tested in something. I hope that makes sense. And then the other way, so we have the live classes, and then the other way that we train people and get and certify people is through our online program. So we have a new online academy. It's called PetEmergencyAcademy.com. Sister company to Pet Emergency Education. We both own both companies and we run them. They're both kind of connected in a lot of ways. But when you go to Pet Emergency Academy, that's an online program which has become more and more popular, especially in this age of technology. People sometimes are, they're limited on their schedules. They are, busy doing other things. They don't have time to just come to a 3-hour class, because their classes are 3 hours, and sit down and take a CPR class. But they can take something online, which is asynchronous, which means you don't have to show up and watch any type of live presentations. They're all pre-recorded, so you can just log in and watch them at your own pace. And there are quizzes and exams in that program. They're multiple choice. And that's how we're able to test the participant and certify them, is they go through the material, they watch the videos, read the material, read the articles, what have you that's in the program. And then they're able to take a multiple choice quiz or multiple choice exam. And based on the score that they get, then they're able to pass, and we're able to then provide them with their certification at that point. I don't know why I'm so off center here. So that's the difference between certification and certificate of attendance. One class, you actually participate in the material, in the class, learn the material, and then get evaluated by the instructor through watching you perform the skills. And then the other one is online, if you take the program online, and then you have to take a quiz or an exam online, and then you're able to get certified that way. Certificate attendance means that you came to a class and you attended, you were there, but there's no validation process. So that's the difference between that. All right. Where can I go to learn CPR and first aid for dogs and cats? Well, you can come to us. So we're Pet Emergency Education, and we're very rapidly growing, internationally recognized animal CPR, first aid, and emergency training company. We have 5 approved programs right now that we offer, all certification programs, as I mentioned. And so we have, for the majority of our classes are live in-person classes, and then we also have the online academy where you can take and get certified in any of our programs online. And so if you go to our website, which I'll show you in just a minute, you can see a list of upcoming classes. Here's an important thing. If you want to host your own class, so say you don't see a class in your area and you're like, I'd like to take a class, but there isn't a class listed here. That's okay, because you could host your own class. All you need is a location to hold the class in. It has to be a public location. We can't do it in private residences. There's a lot of legal liability around that. But library, church, school, local vet clinic might donate the use of their lobby area. Dog training facilities a lot of time will donate the use of their area, their training area for you to use. So all of that is a possibility. And then if you, and you don't even have to have a group of people put together. If you do, great, we can have a private class for your group. So just say, say for example, you have a group of people and you want to have us come in and teach your colleagues, friends, family, group members, whatever. Awesome. All you need is 6 people and we'll come teach you. Or you can host a public class, and even if you don't have anyone ready to take the class, we can help advertise it for you. We'll put it on social media. We'll do an email marketing blast. We have a great marketing director who will go through and go around like a 50-mile radius around your area, and then try to pull out all the different local pet businesses, pet organizations, breed groups, things like that. And we'll advertise to them to get people to come to your class. So you could definitely host a class, and that would be awesome because we're always looking for people to host. And if you'd like to become an instructor, we do have an instructor program. And so if you're interested in becoming an instructor and actually teaching pet CPR and first aid, we would love to have you. We do have some requirements that you can read on our website, but basically we look for animal or veterinary professionals, so someone who already has animal healthcare knowledge and experience. We don't want to take someone that's just, you owned a dog, but that wouldn't qualify. You would need to have some type of animal healthcare experience in some type of animal profession. And then what you can do is you can apply to work for us. We hire instructors as independent contractors. So our program doesn't allow instructors to go off and work on their own, like independently. So you do need to work under our umbrella. We manage all of our classes. We take all the registrations. And the benefit for a lot of people that come to us, especially ones that tell us, that they came from another organization, is that we do have the administrative support where we help go out and find classes. We advertise classes like crazy. We provide administrative support. Instructors don't have to buy books and cards. We provide those directly to the participants. So there's not that expense. There's no expense to be an instructor with us as far as membership expenses or fees or anything like that. Instructors just have to buy their supply kit, and that's the only financial commitment that they have to make. So that you can get more information about that on our website too. So to learn more about us, go to one of our websites. Again, we have the 2 companies. Pet Emergency Education is the parent company. That's has all of our programs on it. And then Pet Emergency Academy is our online training. So that's where our online certification courses are hosted, is on the Academy site. But all the information, pretty much everything about us, about hosting a class, registering for a class, becoming an instructor, all that stuff is on our website, our petemergencyeducation.com. And I hope that you'll have the opportunity to go and check us out. And I certainly hope we see you at a class soon, or that we see you see your application to host a class would be amazing as well. So that's it for today. This was a good experience. I was really looking forward to trying a Facebook Live. I have some other professional colleagues who have done it, and I think it'll be a really cool thing for us to do to get some basic information out about not only us, but animal health care and well-being. So look for more Facebook Lives coming up soon. Thanks.